How's it going, everybody? Chris Cart's back through the mail. Monday, our first of 5 returns coming to us from Mobile, Alabama. Mobile, Alabama, our very first return. And I got a Yogi Berra stamp return, which means I got a recent player, a new player, a current player return in this through the mail Monday. It is not this one. It is Jim Mason, who signed his 72 tops and his 73 tops. The 72 is also signed by Tom Ragland. Needs to be completed by Bill Fahey, and that will look super when it's done. Nice little 9-year career for Jim Mason, 5 with Texas, 3 with the Yanks, including that 1976 season when they won the ALCS. Jim Mason was the only Yankee to homer in that World Series against the Reds, which they would eventually lose. It would be the 500th career World Series home run hit. That's a pretty neat little feather in the cap for Mr. Jim Mason, even though the Yanks went on to lose. They did win in 77. Unfortunately, Mason was not around. He got traded halfway through the season. Never did get to celebrate a world championship with the Yanks. Career 203 hitter, Leo Dixon, career 204 hitter, Mario Mendoza, career 215 hitter. It's called the Mendoza line because it's close to 200, but they called it the Mason-Dixon line, and some still do because Jim Mason and Leo Dixon had a much closer batting average to 200 than Mario Mendoza. So if you ever heard of the Mason-Dixon line when it comes to baseball, that's what that means. It is not in reference to the bordering line up there in the Northeast states, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, up in that area. Different Mason-Dixon line. In baseball, it refers to Jim Mason and Leo Dixon. Let's go on. Awesome return. Let's move on to now return number 2. All right, my friends. Phoenix, Arizona, return number 2. And we have, we've got a blank index card, and we have, we got a nice 87 Topps card signed by Mr. Rich Yett. Rich Yett, nice little 6-year career. 4 with the Indians/Guardians, 2 with the Minnesota Twins, and he signed my set cards, 87, 89, and, 90 Upper Deck, just for good measure, with a pretty thick-looking red Sharpie. Pretty nifty little signature from Rich Yett. Kind of a big scribble, but it's very red and very bright, in your face. Love it. 87 Topps, Tiffany, 89 Upper Deck for the sets. And of course, I got a set update Saturday morning. My next 3 Saturday morning set updates, 87 Topps, 84 Topps, and 89 Upper Deck are in the can and scheduled to go up Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern. So stay tuned for those. I thought a Saturday morning/afternoon. A lazy Saturday, maybe watching baseball in the afternoon, and you can watch me throw in 10 autographed cards into these sets. Very excited to have those done and ready to go. Chris Cards is trying to be proactive when it comes to making more videos. Let's move on to return number 3. North Texas, Texas for our 3rd return of the day here with the Purple Heart stamp. And we have some loose cards in here. We've got Bobby Witt signed and inscribed on an 87 Tiffany with first round in 1985. First round, 3rd overall pick in 1985 by the Texas Rangers. His son, Bobby Witt Jr., was the first round pick, 2nd overall, one better than Daddy, one spot better than Dad, of the 2019 MLB draft. Had to get that 87 Topps Tiffany card inscribed for the set. I think I already have him signed on an 87 Topps card. This is one of those instances where he's easy enough to get where I thought I'd go back and get an inscribed 87 Topps card, just to make that set binder look that much better. Nice long career for Bobby Witt. Has tons of cool cards back in the day. It was not hard to find 3 other cards to go with this 87 Topps that would look great signed. 11 total years with the Texas Rangers, and yes, by the end of his career in 2001, his very last year, got a ring with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Awesome return from Bobby Witt, a TTM Hall of Famer for sure. Let's move on now to return number 4. All right, gang, moving right along as we always do. Check out this. This is like opened and taped shut. So looks like everything's going to be in here, but sometimes some of these envelopes come back in not ideal condition. We got Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan, part of that big red machine back in the 70s. He was an all-star in 72, and of course a 2-time World Series champion, 75, 76, signed very nicely here. 2-time World Series champion inscribed on the 74 Topps for the set. I also have a 74 Topps Reds team card signed by, I think, Jack Billingham. I should have sent as well, but I did not. I am organizing all of these team sets from 74, and I'm trying to figure out who to send them off to. So that's tricky. I don't want to just get anybody that played like one game and got a baseball card to sign the team set list. I'd like to have some people of notable repute sign these cards to kind of make my set look all that much better. And there you guys go. There's information. Of course, there's my little sticky note asking for the inscription, which he was very nice to oblige and do. Spent 25 years working in the casinos in Vegas after he retired. 25 years, started off as a blackjack dealer and worked in other areas of the casino. Golden Nugget, Mirage, a few other places as well. Chris did at the Golden Nugget last week and didn't play much. Played about 3.5, 4 hours worth of poker from about 12:30 to like 3:30, 4:30, and didn't do very good. Started off with $400. Played 1-2 no limit and didn't make any bad plays. Just didn't get anything. Just slowly siphoned away about half my stack before I realized I had to be up in a few hours and I did not want to be miserable for the entire rest of the day. And generally speaking, when the table's cold like that and you're not getting anything good, it just doesn't seem like it just starts getting better. It just seems like it's just a bad day. Cut your losses and go to bed. And so that's what I did. But this next weekend, upcoming week, I'll try to play some more Texas Hold'em, see how I do. I'll let you guys know next week how I do, I guess. Technically, I'm in Vegas right now as you're watching this. Hopefully, I'm doing okay. So anyway, guys, let's move on now to return number 5, our very last return. And yes, it will be from a current player. All right, my friends, final return. I saved the best for last. There's Yogi Berra looking back at us, smiling. I used those stamps for send-offs to current players only, usually to stadiums. Spring training, I will have a separate stamp, but for current players I send off to stadiums, I usually just send the Yogi Berra stamps. And I got a few hundred of them, so I've got a lot of stamps to send off. I thought I was going to send off quite a few this year, and I have not yet done so already. And we've got Mark Canha on a Topps Gallery card in his A's uniform. Very nicely signed by Mark Canha, New York Mets current left fielder. Not a bad little player. Signed a 2-year, $26.5 million contract last year with a 3rd-year option. Led the league in hit by pitches last year with 28, and he led the year before as his last year in the A's with 27. So he gets hit a lot. He just doesn't get out of the way. And of course, the Mets also have Tim LeCastro, who also gets hit a lot. I think he's been up like 4 or 5 times, and he's been hit 3 times. It's absolutely unbelievable. So he's not a very good hitter. So I guess that's a good thing for Tim LeCastro. So there you guys go. Mark Canha, nice to get that back. I sent him 2 cards last year. I sent him one in a Mets uniform, and I sent him this in the A's uniform. I don't know why one came back and one didn't, but he is not a very good signer. Now, if you've been noticing, I've been putting these percentages down below as well as fees and how long it took to get back. Those percentages are kind of just for entertainment purposes only. They're wildly inaccurate. You should not base any of your send-offs on those percentage numbers. Now, if it's 85, 90, 95%, okay, those are pretty much sure things. But if you're in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 80s, these guys could have signed, like Mark Canha is not that bad of return percentage, but he hasn't signed anything in years. Very sporadic, maybe 1 or 2 in the last few years. But his first few years, don't forget, he was drafted by the Marlins back in 2010, 7th round, and he spent 7 years with Oakland. So he did sign the first few years with Oakland, got a bunch of returns, bumped his return percentage number up pretty high, and then once he stopped signing, people stopped sending him, so the failure rate didn't go down, because people stopped sending him. So his rate stayed pretty high. He is not a 60+% return signer. So take all those percentages with a grain of salt. They really are just kind of for musings, I guess, and maybe get a general idea. But some of these they're all wildly inaccurate. The 90+% is almost I mean, you got to figure they're 100%, but, some people don't fill out the information properly. Some people don't fill it out at all. They don't go back and claim a success. And some people just has their stuff lost in the mail. So anything over 90% is pretty much automatic. There are some with a high percentage like Mark Canha. Like if you send one card, you don't have more than a half chance to get it back. It depends on when you send it. And of course, these record trackings go back to the beginning of these players' careers in most cases, so not very accurate. So I thought I'd explain that real quick before I moved on. And that's it, guys. That's our last return, Mark Canha. Really happy to get that back. I think I only sent to Mark Canha I sent them twice last year. I sent to James McCann. I had a James McCann Topps living card I wanted to get signed. And other than that, I don't think I sent anybody else off last year as far as current players are concerned. I was going to do that this year, try to make a dent in some of those Babe Ruth stamps. I got so many of those Babe Ruth stamps. I just want to get some, low percentage, but I'm going to go through some sets, some older sets, and just, some 2019 sets I cracked open, 2020 Topps I got cracked open. Some of those, those Target sets you can pick up for $50, those purple boxes. You can actually pick them up for $20, $30 now on eBay. They're pretty cheap if you guys want to get some current TTM fuel. But also, very low percentage. You're pretty much kissing these cards goodbye, but this is what I do. I do through the mail Monday. If someone's going to take chances, it's going to be me. And if I get lucky enough to get some of these returns, you guys will be the second to know about it. So that's why I do it. I love doing it. I lose some stamps. I lose some cards. Not the end of the world. Less clutter in my house. I guess I can look at it like that. But I did want to get Mark Cannon back, and really glad I did. 1 for 2 for him last year. He might have sold my other card too, and was like, why is this guy trying to get 2 cards? But I think I sent 1 to spring training and 1 to, as you see right there, City Field. So there you guys go. Very happy to get all these 5 returns back. Another video Saturday. I got a Saturday video. Looking forward to that. Another set update, and make sure you guys check that out. Thanks, guys, for watching. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Had a great time doing this week's Through the Mail Monday. Rich Yet, look at those cards. So cool. Nice red signature. Something that'll stand out. Bobby Witt, nice to get that 87 Topps card inscribed. Like I said, I'm going through some of these 80 Topps cards, and I'm like, some of these guys will just inscribe. All you got to do is ask them, and they'll do it. They're very gracious and accommodating with their time. Really appreciate it. And of course, these huge sets that I'm chasing, all 4 of these sets, going to cost a lot of money. Not going to get any money out of these sets. I'm not going to complete these sets and be able to sell these cards for anything near what I paid for them, but just trying to do something really cool. 44 years old, going to be 45 at the end of this year, so I'm getting older. Something that'd be really cool to work on, and you got to have a hobby, right? So this is my hobby, getting these sets collected, and really looking forward to hopefully enjoying a fairly completed sets before I'm too old to enjoy them, and I have to figure out who's going to buy them off me. So just I think of random stuff like that all the time, but you got to. You start thinking about your own mortality, and you think about looking around your room, and like, I got all this stuff. What am I doing with it all? So whatever. I'm in Vegas right now with my girl, Laura. It's her birthday. Her birthday week. We saw Maroon 5 on Saturday. I'm sure it was great. I have no idea. We haven't gone yet. And what else we doing? We saw Beatles. We saw the Beatles Love Cirque show last time we were there, last week or 2 weeks ago. That's the second time I've seen that show, but they've redone it since we last went, so it was totally different. And of course, I love their mix of the Beatles. I love their love mix. Super cool. Really enjoy it. And we've seen pretty much all the Cirque shows except we even saw Big Apple a couple months back, so we're pretty much up to date on all the Cirque shows. All the crazy shows like Absinthe and the Atomic Saloon show, and I think those guys do one other show too that's pretty raunchy little shows they do. Those are really funny. I think we've seen all those. So we go to Vegas. We try to, we see all the shows, entertainment. Go see a concert if we can. We saw Bill Burr a couple years ago. That was absolutely hilarious. Laughed so hard for like 2 straight hours. And we'll be going to Red Rocks, I guess. Is it Red Rocks? Red Rock Canyon? And we'll be doing a hike up there as well. Probably the first or second day we're there, we'll be hiking. Could be Monday, actually. We start hiking today. So we're going to go over there and pick out a moderate hike. Heat shouldn't be too bad. We'll bring our water and get our little Merrill hiking shoes on, and we'll have a good time hiking around and enjoying the great American Southwest, as Art Bell used to call it. And that is it, my friends. Thanks for watching this week's Through the Mail Monday, number 220. Put in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of this week's returns, or just say, hey, how you doing, Chris? And I'll say hey back, of course. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. I do this every single Monday. I am a autograph-related channel, but I also do openings, pack openings, and some other various things. Private signing returns. I just try to do interesting videos. I try not to scream at you and say "let's go" all the time. I don't use a fake voice that's super over the top, loud, and obnoxious. If I am being loud and over the top, it is not a calculated maneuver on my part. It is just me being loud and obnoxious. So happens to the best of us, and I apologize in advance for that. So there you guys go, my friends. Thank you so much. See ya.